Now Firefox is breaking.
Okay,
And we're live.
let's finish.
Continuing complaining about technology. It is the cards.
Oh, I was wondering if you were going to go all the way with that. Anyway, go ahead and start the intro. Welcome everybody to V.G.H.C. Cast, episode number 29. We're going to be talking about mostly Mario Kart 8, Watchdogs, and if we even have time, we have some small little topics, but we're going to see what happens here. And we have a special guest, Aiden, with us.
I'm
in the video.
I'm
We'll ignore the fact that the cap isn't, black.
Oh, come on. He's got all kinds of different caps.
That's one thing that one thing I actually haven't bitched about, but I really wish you could customize the costume. I actually picked the different pieces. Like, that's too much to ask for.
Can't you customize the color? I know you can change the outfits, but I thought you could customize the colors.
If you could, I have no idea how or where. All I did was just buy outfits, and I found one I liked and never changed it. There were a lot of bad ones.
Yes. Especially some of the ones that came in the pre-order deluxe edition. Some of those are really bad.
Oh, yeah. I, completely forget getting... I almost completely regret getting the digital deluxe edition. Almost. Actually, I almost regret getting the entire game in general.
Wow.
But we'll get on
where this is going.
Let's talk about something fun first. Let's talk about Mario Kart 8.
Alright.
You're the only one who's played it?
That might be the case. I mean, Nathan, you said you played what, like a demo?
I played a demo at Target. I only played like 3 maps. But I got a pretty decent experience. I was kind of pissed I lost every race. Best I got was 2nd place. But here's the thing. Luigi won every race.
So it was rigged.
There's something wrong with that. I've never seen Luigi ever win in any Mario Kart.
So you're saying the game was rigged?
I don't know.
Pretty much all of them, they seem to have somebody that's set to win for that time that you're playing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And it's hard to get them out of whatever place pretty much that they want them to be.
The entire
for example,
DS version, Toad is a complete and utter bastard.
Yes.
Oh, you somehow knocked Toad to 8th place? Oh, he's just going to get 7 lightning bolts in a row?
Yeah, Mario Kart isn't exactly random.
No.
Mario Kart is completely rigged. And
evidently, from what I've read, even in Mario Kart 8, if you're in 1st place, you still get absolutely screwed for items.
Well, place in general is going to get screwed for items. You
Yeah.
tend to get the, not as good items when you're further in front.
What about the frickin' horn box that's supposed to be the defense against the blue shell?
I have not gotten to use that in that context yet. I've only gotten to use it normally where I've hit nobody with it, but the little horn, it brings out the sound wave, and I guess it hits people when you're close enough. I have yet to use it as a successful blue shell counter.
Let's see, I tried 2 new power-ups. The Fireball, which seems to absolutely suck unless you have really, really good aim.
Isn't that... They had the Fireball in Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh, I never played Double Dash, so...
It's essentially infinite green shells, which, again, you need to have good aim. So it's not bad, but...
It's not infinite, though. It does go away as you use them, but you get a lot of shells.
See, the Fireball in Double Dash, you threw it, and it split into 8 fireballs, and it would bounce around the track.
See, that would be cool. This one you just fire off, and You missed somebody OL.
Yeah, it's just like using the just like when you use it in the game. You just fire it off, and whenever it runs out, it runs out.
There's a little put.
What was the other thing I got? I think it was the
chain chomp.
Yeah, the chain chomp thing. You get that, and he kind of just goes out and he'll try and hit other people, or
That was in Mario Kart Double Dash.
he'll try and grab an item for you. It seemed kind of interesting, but kind of useless at the same time. Like it's a very situational item.
The chain chomp originally was in Mario Kart Double Dash. It was the baby Mario power. And it was nice because it would drag you along the course really fast and bowl everyone over. The problem was it always let go of you at the absolute worst time.
Yeah, that figures.
Flying off into the abyss, completely negating any progress you had made.
I mean, for the little bit I did play of it, I really did like it. I liked that you could customize the karts. I thought that was really cool. Being able to pick the body and then the wheels, that was really cool and brought some really interesting combinations.
You can also pick the glider.
Yeah, except there's only one that's not incredibly girly. I mean, I was going to go with the umbrella, but, you know, I was playing as Bowser, so I thought that'd be a little much. Plus, you know, in reality, if Bowser tried to use an umbrella to stop his fall, that thing would just cry and die. But I really enjoyed the graphics. I was very impressed with. You know, it's nice. You know, when Nintendo actually has HD, it looks really good.
It's funny because I said the exact same thing on stream. It's like, wow, seeing Nintendo in HD finally is actually pretty freaking nice.
Yeah. Let's see. What courses did I play? I played the underwater one. That one was very cool. What is the other one I played?
Silly. You're driving underwater.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. And you can fire the fireball underwater too. So.
I mean, at least in Sonic Racing Transform, when you go in the water, you actually transform into a boat.
Which they might as well have done with this, considering you already had all the other transformations. But I think it's only one course, so I guess it's not really worth doing for one course.
You already glide, so why not turn it into a boat? I don't get it.
Anyway, the other course I tried was, I want to say it was like an arena or a race course kind of thing, but I don't remember.
Was it a Wario one?
Maybe. I don't remember. It was the very first one. That's all on the demo. That's all I can tell you. But I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was playing and I was like, this is almost enough to make me get a Wii U.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing. The tracks look really creative. Though I wish they would have done a little bit more with the whole gravity magnetizing mechanic.
I just wish they were releasing it for the 3DS.
It's that kind of thing. It's when you go on the sides and whatnot. Like, you don't have to do it. You have a clear advantage if you do, but you don't have to do it. It's completely optional.
But aren't there certain courses where it forces you going upside down and sideways and whatnot?
Oh yeah, because both the ones I played made you do that.
Nothing really feels forced. What does feel forced, if you're not used to it already, is drifting. Because the thing is you can do it without drifting, sure, but if you do that, you're at a huge disadvantage. Like, drifting is pretty much required in this game.
Oh, drifting.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I lost too, because I was noticing in the first match that every single character was drifting and drifting perfectly, and yet I wasn't doing that. So
I think drifting has been required ever since Double Dash. I think they introduced drifting in Double Dash.
No, you could do it in the 64.
Well, it wasn't the same. You didn't have the speed boost. You couldn't, to pull yourself out of the turn.
I know the DS version had it. The GBA version did not, but the DS version did. And the DS version on the 50 and 100, you didn't need to. But on 150, unless you were really, really, really good at the game, you had to.
Yeah, you had to abuse the crap out of it.
And even on some levels, it didn't matter how good you were. If you did not do it, you would lose, guaranteed. Unless you just got ridiculously good items.
And you actually did get the boost in the 64 version, because you would have the smoke behind you as you're drifting. It would start off white, it'd turn orange, and you get the little speed boost off of it.
Yeah, you did, but the speed boost wasn't anywhere near what it's been, at least in the DS version and since then.
I think they really started to focus on drifting in Double Dash, and then the DS one after that, and then every subsequent one. I remember.
Thinking about it now, you technically do it in the very first game. You didn't get any boost off of it. It was just simply drifting, but you could do it in the first game too.
Oh yeah, you could. It's just it wasn't required.
No, definitely not.
And I mean, and when playing your friends, it still might not necessarily be one, but when playing the AI, oh yeah, because they do it at every turn and they always get the boost.
Basically, the only way to get the edge up over them is to snake on the straightaways.
Yeah. One thing I did notice in the second race that I did, I saw 4 characters get the jump boost at the start of the match. And I was like, because that's fair.
That's a tricky one to pull off.
I mean, the most I've ever seen before that had been 2. To see 4 do it, like, you cheating bastards.
But
I
going
don't
back,
feel like the beginning boost is that great anymore.
Still hacks.
if both in Double Dash, if you have 2 human players on the cart and both of them hit the gas at the right time, you would get an insane turbo boost at the start of the race. It was ridiculous.
When you had the 2 players, because you had 2 players working together. I only ever played Double Dash, basically in the demo. Demo at, I guess, Toys R Us and Target and various places. That was the only time I ever played Double Dash. I never really liked it, and I didn't own a GameCube, so wasn't really any reason to have it.
Double Dash was the best one purely for having the dual player carts.
I don't know. I think Mario Kart 8 is going to be better from everything that I've seen.
Well, everything else about Mario Kart 8 is certainly better than Double Dash, but the 2-player carts just added a whole nother layer of strategy and maneuvers, and even having, because since in Double Dash all the items, all the special items were character specific, so you actually picked which character you wanted to play as based on what items they would get. So there was much more involved in Double Dash.
Well, my hope is for this fall, we get a $250 bundle for the Wii U and Mario Kart 8, and maybe something else. Maybe toss something else in to make it even more worth it. I might go pick it up.
Like a Wii wheel?
No. Toss in the Pro Controller, because that's one thing. I did not like using the gamepad for Mario Kart at all.
No, the gamepad sucks.
I enjoyed using the gamepad in the Lego game, the Lego Undercover, but using it for Mario Kart just felt wrong.
The pros use the Wiimote.
Oh, the damn Wiimote. To hell with the Wiimote.
And by pros, you mean grandmas.
You actually could use the Wii wheel without using the Wii wheel on the tablet. You can tap in the bottom right and actually steer with the tablet, just like you do with the Wii wheel.
Why would you do that?
I don't know how people
If
can
you want
do
to
it.
guarantee yourself 8th place, that's when you do that. Or, excuse me, 10th place, because that's the last place in this game.
I don't know how anybody can do that, because I remember when the first racing games came out for phones, and a lot of them had the control where you had to take your phone and turn it like this to turn the thing. And the very first time I tried doing that, I went like this, and then my head went like this, and then I kept turning and turning, and I crashed.
Yeah.
For me, trying to do that, I can't do it. And then I tried it again with Mario Kart. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, with Mario, this is Mario Kart for the Wii. I was like, okay, with this, I have the wheel. I got the wheel to turn. It's on a screen. The screen's not gonna move when I'm turning, so hopefully I'll be okay. Still did it. Still turned my freaking head and I crashed. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just retarded, but I can't do it. Give me a stick or left and right buttons. Then I'm good.
Yeah.
Preferably left and right.
I
buttons.
no longer trust you to drive me anywhere.
In real life, I'm fine, but just driving in a video game, I can't do it.
They need to make that GameCube multi-tap adapter compatible with Mario Kart. And use
I doubt it, but that'd be kind of cool.
They just need to use that and start bringing back all of the old GameCube games on the Wii, or on the Wii U.
But that would be intelligent.
True.
Say, if they brought back the Rogue Squadron game for the GameCube, oh, instant buy. But of course that won't happen because of everything that's going on with Star Wars now.
I want
people get a new one.
I want Microsoft to bring back Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, but that'll probably never happen.
No, that'll never happen. Just go buy Age of Empires. It still works.
Well, I tell you, I have Age of Empires 2 and 3, and Age of Mythology, but Galactic Battlegrounds is Age of Empires 2 with Star Wars. I mean, what is more perfect?
You know, I'm looking up screenshots of that. You know, I don't think I ever actually played Galactic Battlegrounds.
I only played it a little bit at a friend's house, but
it looks like the old Command and Conquer, actually.
See, I don't know about that. I just know it's Age of Empires 2's engine, but with Star Wars.
It looks closer to Command and Conquer, to be honest. But I never played Age of Empires, so.
Aesthetically, maybe, but the engine and everything is virtually is Age of Empires 2.
It actually looks good.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch more units than Age of Empires 2 because you have like the submarines and you have the Naboo people, so they have all their aquatic-based stuff. You have more resource types, more unit types.
Well, here's to hoping that in the next few years you will have lots of more Star Wars games. I know EA has promised that Battlefront gameplay will be at E3, which is to be expected because it is supposed to come out next year.
Is this like Watchdogs gameplay?
Yeah, well, it's EA, so hopefully not.
Because when you look at the original E3 Watchdogs gameplay, and then look at Watchdogs.
Battlefront, though, is we kind of already know what to expect from Battlefront, at least as far as graphics go. Basically, just look at Battlefield 3 and 4 on the PC, and that's what you're going to get.
But Battlefield 4 sucks.
Yeah, well, it's a different team.
And Battlefield 4 is broken.
Is it a different team? I'm going to make sure. If not, I'm kind of afraid.
They're just now figuring out how to fix the netcode in Battlefield 4.
Battlefield 4 just never should have been released. I mean,
Battlefield 4 was an early access title sold for full price in retail. They one-upped Steam.
Ah, son of a bitch! It is the same people.
Oh, good. So it's not going to work when you buy it.
Oh.
So the new Battlefield Hardline, is partially developed by DICE, I guess just because it's the engine.
So it's partially.
Okay, DICE is handling the multiplayer for Battlefield Hardline, so instantly
it's not going to work.
So in other words, you need to change the name to Battlefield Flatline.
The single player will work.
So yeah,
It's not the
Visceral Games is doing the single player. Battlefield Hardline, I actually saw that whole leaked video, and it actually looks pretty interesting. Oh God, I mean, I hesitate to blame all of Battlefield 4's problems specifically on DICE because DICE has never done anything this bad before. So I really kind of have to hope that it was just pushed out too quickly. I mean, it was only 2 years. Granted, it was the same. It was minor upgrades to the engine, but I don't know.
Doing anything else before, during that? Did they lose a bunch of people? I mean,
I don't know. Actually, no. It was a new engine. It was Frostbite 3 instead of 4. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that's all it comes down to. But no, all they were doing between Battlefield 3 and 4 was Battlefield. They did the 5 expansion packs for Battlefield 3. And that was it.
maybe they rushed out Frostbite 3 too fast.
Yeah, that's probably what it most likely is. But of course, Battlefield 4 is the only game that's, had problems. The Need for Speed Rivals and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare were both on it as well. Neither one of them reported anywhere near the problems, of Battlefield. But of course, they're very different games. But it is a little bit worrying. Battlefront is going to be based on it. Also Dragon Age Inquisition and the next Mass Effect. So I think Dragon Age Inquisition is first, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition comes out October 7th. It comes out October 7th, 2014, so that'll be the first test of Frostbite, I guess. But hopefully Battlefront won't suck. I'm excited for it, and I'm more excited because EA kind of teased that we will be getting other Star Wars announcements. Which, of course, if all it is just a game for the new movie, I'm going to be really pissed off.
It better not, because the Star Wars actual movie games are very sporadic and not always. There was movie games for Episode 3. And
Episode 1 had a game that was actually very good.
Yeah, Episode 1 had a game and then a bunch of side spin-off games that weren't directly tied to the movie.
The direct game was actually very good. I played that for a really long time. I think I actually played that basically until Jedi Knight came out because it was the closest game we had to being a really good Jedi game that didn't look like absolute crap.
Episode 2 didn't have its own game, I don't think. I know it had a bunch of side games. I don't think Episode 2 actually had a movie game.
It might have, but it might have just been so terrible. It might have also only been released for the PS2 or something.
I know there was a Clone War third-person shooter for the PS2 and Xbox, and it was also bundled with Tetris Worlds. But
Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones is a video game based on the film. It was only released for the Game Boy Advance.
What?
It was only released for the Game Boy Advance.
The Episode 3 game, that was also released for the
Informer gave it an abysmal 1 out of 10, calling it the dark side of gaming.
What was the
Oh my God.
There was another Game Boy Advance game based on Episode 2, the Droid Army, I think. That one was actually kind of good.
There was the Clone Wars, there's Jedi Starfighter, there was Republic Commando, New Droid Army.
New Droid Army, that one I had that one for the Game Boy Advance, and it was actually kind of good.
Lightsaber Duels, Jedi Adventures, Republic Heroes, Bounty Hunter.
But most of the game,
basically, Episode 2 never got a good game until Lego Star Wars came out. But of course, Episode 2 wasn't that good of a movie, so you can't really blame it.
No, it wasn't.
But I'm looking at the screenshots of this game, and actually, I remember it. I actually owned this. I hope I didn't pay for it, but I actually owned it.
Yeah, I only had New Droid Army. That one was cool.
There were some truly terrible games.
I think I tried the Episode 3 game for the Game Boy Advance, and that was horrible.
When your game only comes out on the GBA, you know you did something wrong.
Yeah, there was no thought, effort, time, money.
There were so many terrible games for the GBA. The GBA had games for like every movie. I remember there was a game for the Mummy. There was a Stargate game, I think. There was an Independence Day game too, I think. There were so many terrible games for the GBA.
Oh yeah, because there were so many bad games that weren't even based off of anything. They're just is those couple of that started making games for the Wii.
You know, that's what Angry Video Game Nerd should do next GBA games. I'll give him another 2,000 episodes.
or do the shovelware games. Pick like one or two developers that make all of these games, and they make each one in the space of like 3 months.
Out of curiosity.
On the Wii that are virtually like the same game. They just replace all of the art assets. So they make like 4 games that are all identical except for the graphics are different.
According to, let's see, so according to one thing I found, this was posted a long time ago, back in 2005. So never mind, but I guess in 2005, according to Nintendo, there were only 755 GBA games.
That seems low.
That seems incredibly low. Victor, Calvin, what do you think? Doesn't that seem low?
How many?
755.
For GBA. It kind of does.
Well, I mean, it's not over 9,000.
Anywhere we can find that.
Gonna seem low.
I found one thing that says 2,802 games. That sounds more like it.
Yeah. When did they actually stop making GBA games?
I'm pretty sure I had 700.
According to Wikipedia, under the list of Game Boy Advance games, the list is 1,075. This only includes only for Game Boy Advance, and this is organized by the localized English titles or when Japan exclusive, their Japan names. So it might not include different versions, but at least it says it has all the games. 1,075. Even that seems low.
It's Wikipedia. It must be true.
I had like 1,075 GBA games. I don't remember having them all.
I mean that just seems low. I would have put money down on it being over 2,000. But I guess it's maybe just different versions.
Could be.
Well, you know, Nintendogs I don't think came out for it, so that explains a little bit.
Well, then when the DS came out, they started having to make the exact same GBA games for the DS too.
I'm really surprised though. Only 1,075. I really would have thought it would have been more.
Going back to Mario Kart, I'm gonna put something out there. We all saw this nice trailer with Rainbow Road, and it's like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome because we're seeing this awesome version of N64 Rainbow Road. Let me tell you what they did to this course.
They cut it in fourths.
Yes.
What?
It is shit. The laps go.
What do you mean What do you mean they cut it in four?
Here's how the track works now. You know how Rainbow Road in the 64 version, which is the one that they did for the redone courses in this game, the 64 version, it takes like 2 minutes to do one lap.
Yeah.
Now it takes about 2 minutes to do the entire course, because the way it works is that you do one lap, before you know it, you're into the second lap, which is a different part of the course, and then before you know it, you're into that third lap, and the race is already over within 2 minutes.
That sucks.
It's all one course that lasts about 2 minutes. And let me tell you, this game has a knack for making you feel really good about yourself, and then sitting there and fucking you right at the end of the last course.
That's called Mario Kart.
Because it sucks. You go through all of it, and then you just lose it just like that. And that's literally the case with Rainbow Road, because it only lasts like 2 minutes. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, there goes my first place. Looks like I have to play all 4 again to get the gold. But yep, they kind of dumbed it down. I'm very disappointed in that. I don't know why they did it.
Because to make it easier for the kids.
No, fuck that.
So would you still say, Victor, that this is the best Mario Kart, like everyone's saying?
See, I don't know if I'm willing to say it's the best Mario Kart, but it definitely handles really well. I enjoy it definitely as much as I used to enjoy the 64 version. That being said, I haven't played like all of the new tracks yet. I mostly played the old school tracks because it seemed to be the only ones that me and Dan collectively were good at the time. Of course, there's a lot more to be seen, a lot more to be done. It's kind of annoying since they did include all the Koopa kids. That it's like, ooh, unlockable character. Oh, it's another Koopa kid. Yay.
Yeah. Double Dash actually had some interesting unlockable characters. And yeah, I know you could unlock PD Piranha and King Boo. I think you could get the Toad and Toadette. So I think actually no, the thing with Double Dash is most of the characters started out unlocked. It was just Toad and Toadette and King Boo and PD Piranha that were locked. Instead, you unlocked cars, because all the cars had different stats and different weight classes for the different characters. So that's why you played and unlocked and went through all the courses to unlock different cars. There was a ton of cars.
Indeed.
Like, each weight class.
Does Mario Kart 8 have any unlockable characters or cars, or is it just all what's there?
There's unlockable characters. There's also unlockable cars and wheels and gliders.
So I think that the demo that I played, I'm kind of assuming had all the characters because there was a huge list.
Yeah.
But it did seem like cars and wheels were not cars, but wheels were very limited. There's only like 4 options.
Yeah, you can get carts, you can get bikes, you can get different types of wheels, you can get different gliders.
I think there was like 5 or 6 different cars. There was like 3 bikes. There was an ATV, and then there was only like 3 or 4 different wheels. But characters, god damn, there must have been like 40, maybe 40 characters.
You can play as every member of the Bowser family.
Yeah, I did. I played as one of the Bowser kids.
Which
Every
is
kid, cousin, and uncle of the Bowser family is in the game.
This game will be out, and I still won't know the name of all of them.
It's nice to. I think I played as Ludwig.
There's Ludwig, Iggy, Wendy.
Was it Ludwig? Yeah, Ludwig's who I played as.
Wendy,
Roy.
that bitch.
One of them's Roy. Man, what are all their names?
You know more than I do.
I
Kudos to you. I don't know the name of any of these guys.
I can't keep track of all of them, but I do know a few of them. Roy, I think, is the big burly one.
It's okay. Peach can't keep track of them all either.
Yeah. Can we replace Peach with Rosalina, please? Just kind of take Peach away.
I hope I get some time soon to put some more experience into it. One thing, Victor, have you tried it out in split screen yet?
Yeah, because I did the when I streamed it, I did co-op play with Dan, and it's good. One thing I will say, it was smooth the whole way through.
The frame rate drop wasn't bad?
No, not at all.
Well, actually, the frame rate drop doesn't happen until you add, I think, 3 people in.
Well, that would make sense.
It stays at 60 frames for 2-player, but as soon as you add that third person, it cuts it to 30.
It feels so smooth. It's really great to see. And then all in HD. definitely a pickup.
Well, you know what?
Definitely buy.
We'll have to have a belated birthday party for me next week, and we'll play with 4 people and see how much it sucks.
Just don't play battle mode.
Or hopefully doesn't suck.
I will say, unlike the PS4 around the time when Second Son came out, not to knock on Second Son, but I don't feel like that's a reason to buy the PS4. I think now we're starting to get something. I could justify buying a Wii U for Mario Kart 8. That's how good it is.
And that's really all you kind of need to say, pretty much.
Yeah.
Smash coming soon, and then we can just move on to a new console because there won't be a single other good Nintendo game to come out.
Oh, we still have to wait
Zelda's coming.
That's right. We have to have another Zelda remake, probably another crappy Metroid game, and then they can move on.
How about a non-crappy Metroid game? That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just going with history, Victor. That's all.
If they make Metroid Prime, a new Metroid Prime game for the Wii U, where the tablet is your scan visor, I will go out and buy one of those stupid things.
Here's hoping Retro Studios just kind of keeping their mouths shut and that they are working on something that's Metroid related because
they better be.
Because Other M is just something that needs to be forgotten about.
Yes, we don't speak of that game.
You know, Victor, I think your internet's even worse than usual right now.
Oh?
That's also true.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good for a while, but there were some moments there where you were cutting out and just the video footage is... Like, if you move, it takes like 20 seconds to happen.
Well, fuck AT&T. That's all I have to say to that.
I see my local video, so I don't know how bad mine is, but...
Yeah, yours isn't great either.
Probably not.
Fuck AT&T, like I said. Oh, God, I can't wait to be done with this shit.
Let's all move to Austin and get Google Fiber.
Great, who's going to pay for it?
Nobody.
I'd love to do that, but I am financially stuck.
Yeah, aren't we all? So I'm just kind of hoping that they pick Orlando next, and then I'll be really happy.
We'll just pool money and get ourselves to Austin. Sounds good.
There you go.
Well, we'll just all buy this one huge house, and everyone just live in the one house.
All right, so let's go through the news in like 5 minutes, and then while Ubisoft prepares their anus. Yeah, Nintendo's releasing a Wii U adapter for GameCube controllers. It should have been out 3 years ago. Thanks anyway. Yeah, I know 3 years ago console came out, but it doesn't matter. Pokemon. Nintendo trademarked Pokemon Delta, which made everyone Delta Emerald, which made everyone think that Emerald is coming out. No, sorry. Keep crying. They're doing it because they evidently do it a lot in the past. Evidently, they trademarked Water Blue. I never knew that. But they trademarked the other.
Blue.
They trademarked the other games' names just as a way to make sure that nobody tries to steal it.
Why don't they trademark Chaos Emerald?
Isn't that an actual hack? Like somebody actually made that?
Yeah, that's the chaos ROMs where it randomizes everything in the game, where you can randomly go up against a Magikarp that knows, like Roar of Time.
Wait, that's the same thing? I know there's a Chaos Black. I know that.
No, there is someone that did the Chaos Emerald ROM, and the Chaos Emerald ROM, I believe, is a randomized one. I think it's the one that they used for Twitch Play Pokemon was similar.
So it's basically Pokemon Dark Souls.
Yeah, that is a good way to put it. The randomized Pokemon ROMs basically are Pokemon Dark Souls. It's like, oh look, a Pidgey. I don't have to be worried about anything. Hyper Beam. So yeah, for. But seriously, that is what in the randomized game, every single Pokemon and every gym leader and everything in the game, all the Pokemon are randomized. They all have random moves. They all have the abilities to own anything. In some of them, their types can even be randomized. So again, you could go up to a Pidgey and it could be Dark and Steel.
Oh, that would be amazing.
or like for example, or you go up to be a ground type and you go and use Thunder Shock and it's like, nope, bye bye, bitch. I've never played a randomized ROM, but I'm actually planning on finally doing it soon, especially with Alpha and yeah, with Ruby and Sapphire coming out. I was thinking of downloading a randomized Emerald ROM and having some fun.
So Ash has a Pikachu from that game, because how else is Thunder good on ground?
Pikachu is Thunder. Ash wins the battle. What? Hacks. And yet there's not even an actual hack to let you do that in the game. I think in every game, in every action replay, there was never a code that let you get around defenses. Never ever. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we don't. And Nvidia Titan Z costs $3,000. Fuck Nvidia. Sony's randomly going to air their E3 conference in movie theaters. I don't really know what to even still say about that.
I hope people like watching a buffering meter.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that would suck. I mean, just watching it at home, it's free. If you pay to go see that in a theater, just give me the money. Evidently, there's a new Mortal Kombat coming. We'll find that out in 2 weeks at E3. The Valve's official Steam machine is delayed until 2015.
And no one cares.
Yeah, pretty much. And the official controller is also delayed until 2015, and definitely nobody cares about that one.
So the Steam machine, you could say, is a vaporware.
Alienware and a few of the other companies said that they're still planning on having theirs out this year, but the official ones will not be out this year. Which means that the official ones, unless they were on Windows, you probably shouldn't get. Or if you do, go buy a copy of Windows when you do. Take-Two confirmed that Red Dead is a permanent franchise. Pretty much leading us to believe that the rumor from a couple weeks ago that Rockstar has a new game coming out next spring, it most likely will be the sequel to Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Resurrection.
Whatever the name will be, most likely it will follow the GTA style, where you may see some of the characters or the events be mentioned, but it most likely will be an all-new cast and everything, which means the name will, probably be something different. A lot of people don't know it, but Red Dead Redemption was a sequel to a previous game, so this will actually be another game in that series.
Solver.
Let's see. Gearbox flat out said that Borderlands 3 is not in development, and made a very nasty comment. Actually, I loved it. I'm actually going to look it up because I want to read. The comment.
Oh, from Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, from Randy. Something
about
thank you for not finding it.
They don't fuck around with leading you like, oh, we might be making O or no, oh, we might be making it.
Okay, so the exact quote. There's two parts to the quote. So the first part was, "We are not working on Borderlands 3. That is on comment. We do have more to do in the franchise, but no, there isn't a Borderlands 3." He's saying this because there have been a lot of rumors about the pre-sequel is coming out this fall. And most likely they are actually working on Borderlands 3, but it's in the, they're writing it, they're concepting it now because, as I mentioned in the group, with the two endings of Borderlands 2, both the core game ending and the ending of Tiny Tina, they open it up for a couple storylines that would be in the sequel, but depending on how they decide to play that, this next game could be huge. So what he said is, I'm not going to fuck around with you like Valve does with Half-Life 3. Which I love, because it's nice to see someone in the industry actually give Valve shit.
I want the interview with Randy Pitchford that happens that they ask him, okay, guys, do you know how it counts at 3? I don't know who's going to do it, but someone needs to ask him that.
I think the best thing would be Borderlands 3 gets announced, Valve goes and releases Half-Life 3 the exact same day. Just say, hey Randy, go fuck yourself.
Well, the thing is, Valve just can't all of a sudden release Half-Life 3. They can't be that far in development without anyone leaking it or knowing about it. So
I'm trying to find the post real quick, but somebody on Reddit came up with the idea that Half-Life 3 is only 6 months late. Okay, here.
6 months late from when?
Damn! Wow! It went down. The image is either that or Imager's down. One of the two. Well, the reason why he said this. I wish I could load the image to just actually show you. But I guess Imager is broken right now. But so what he said was that there was a 6-year development time. There was a 6-year development time between Half-Life and Half-Life 2. So according to him, there have been 6 years plus 6 months since Episode 2, and that's actually correct. So basically, he's saying it's 6 months late, assuming a 6-year development time.
But that also means, since we've heard so little about anything, that as of right now, the most we would get would be an announcement.
Oh yeah, of course, and even what's it called? Half-Life 2 was announced at least a year, if not 2, in advance.
So if
how long ago, I don't remember.
If Valve were to
also Half-Life 2 was leaked. I forgot about that. Half-Life 2 got leaked before they wanted to announce it.
Yeah, if Half-Life 3 got leaked or got announced sometime this year, we probably won't see it till at least next year. At the very least.
I still don't even care anymore. I mean, at this point, if Half-Life 3 was to come out and have the same pretty basic generic gameplay as 3, it would basically be a failure.
That's the thing, is I don't see any way Half-Life 3 could live up to the bar set by Half-Life 2 back then.
Yeah.
There's no possible way.
Yeah, it won't. Obviously, if it does come out, I'm going to play it because I want to see where the story goes, but I don't expect it to be Game of the Year or this, masterpiece that we've been waiting for and that so many people think we're going to get.
It would probably be a bigger disappointment than Duke Nukem Forever.
I don't know. That's a pretty big disappointment right there.
Well, it would be a bigger disappointment because the hopes are such higher. Nobody really had such high hopes for Duke Nukem Forever, so when it wasn't that great, you weren't really let down that much.
Yeah. And Duke Nukem Forever had been through such development hell that it was a miracle it even came out in the first place.
The thing that pisses me off about so many people give that game crap, but it was a Duke Nukem game. It was a 13-year-old Duke Nukem game. That is what it is. You knew that going in and buying it. If you decided to spend $60 on that, knowing what it was, then you don't get the right to be pissed about it.
Yeah, there was no way that was gonna come out and be some revolutionary thing like Duke Nukem 3D or any of the other games were.
I mean, it should have cost $60. Probably not, but
30.
That's the world that we live in. And interestingly enough, it did not get posted in VGHC, I don't think, but one of the heads of the studio, People Can Fly, that did Bulletstorm, he wrote an article saying that basically $60 for a game, in 2014 is insane.
It is.
And a lot of people who read that was just like, oh, this guy's a douche, they want even more money. But if you actually read the article, he was actually saying the complete opposite. He was saying that the fact that, and he was specifically bringing up Bulletstorm, in which he even said that Bulletstorm was not worth $60. And for as much as I really enjoyed that game, he was right. It wasn't worth $60. Maybe at the most, maybe the most 30, maybe even 40. not really worth 60. But we have this thing with the industry where every single game must be $60, plus another 30 for the season pass, and then another 20 for the other DLC.
Well, and it's gotten so bad now where if a game comes out and it's less than $60, it's immediately assumed to be trash.
Unless it's on the PC, in which we just all buy it up because it's on Steam Greenlight, and then realize it sucks.
Yeah.
We'll get to that another
Because everyone has this obsession with building their Steam collection, which kind of just sits there.
But that's also one of the great things about being a PC gamer is the fact that we do get these sales. So if a game comes out that isn't worth $60, you wait a few months and you get it for 30. I mean, even as it is, you know, we got Watchdogs. A few of us got Watchdogs, the $70 edition for $52.49 because of the amazing sale at Green Man Gaming. Thank you very much for that, by the way. And you know, but he makes a lot of good points. And you know, like for example, the one quote that he said that really is perfect is if you want to sell a game for $60 to the player, it has to feel like $200.
Yeah.
And that's fair. He said, you know, Bulletstorm is a $60 game for $60, and these days $60 for a game sounds basically crazy when there are literally hundreds of high-quality games out there for a much smaller price, even on console. In 2014, $60 for a game is insane. And when you look at games like Skyrim, you know, Mass Effect, GTA 5, you know, I'll even toss Titanfall out there, and you compare it to a game like Bulletstorm that basically was just single player and you could get through it in about 10 hours. Yeah, you know, you look at all those games and everything you get in those games for $60 compared to the 60 you got for 10 hours. So, and I mean, I actually liked Bulletstorm, and I don't regret that money, but he makes a really good point, and unfortunately, I think it's going to be a long time until the industry actually learns that.
It's going to be a long time before the industry learns anything.
Ain't that the goddamn truth? Speaking of people not learning anything, Take-Two is giving the future of BioShock to the people that made BioShock 2. Calvin, I will let you cry for the next 5 minutes.
Peace out, Bioshock. Nice knowing you.
Why?
Well, what I said in the group that as far as the development of the game goes, they were the ones that added the dual wielding, which is very awesome. They also added some other very, very cool features into that game. You know, the story was garbage. The world, the new places they added wasn't really that great. But I honestly believe that as far as the development goes, it's okay. Though I really, really hope they get much better writers.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Calvin's just like, no, screw them, screw all of them.
But see, it's gonna be hard to follow.
Impossible.
That is the thing. Is how do you follow Infinite?
You leave it be.
Without trying to say too many spoilers. Well, what I wanted to happen isn't going to happen. Thank you very much, Levine, you bastard. But you can't touch the story of the previous games. It's done. It's as simple as that. Play the 2 DLCs for Infinite, and it's done. Now, if they're going to do anything, they're going to have to come up with a side story. And they're going to have to come up with a damn good reason why the side story exists.
Or it would have to be sort of a prequel or pre-sequel or mid-quel or whatever.
I mean, they could, but I think that would be bad because it's basically what Bioshock 2 was.
But they could do whatever they want. There's infinite possibilities.
Victor, did you beat the second DLC?
That's not the point.
Then shut up. You have no idea what we're talking about.
Because see, in the
Don't beat it because you really don't understand what happens.
No, because see, in the second DLC, Elizabeth does this crazy thing and it blows up all the universes. So there is no universe.
Well, the one idea, unfortunately, I can't really say my one idea without completely spoiling the end of V.G.H.C. But the one thing that I think they could go with, even though it doesn't make sense, but I wouldn't really care, is that they would follow another Elizabeth from another universe. And if you can come up with a really, really good reason why that Elizabeth survived or is okay, or separate from everything else, then that would be awesome.
Infinite
But again, you have
possibilities.
to get a really, really good writer. I took my glasses off, so I can't read anything on my computer now. So, Calvin, are you have any faith?
What have I said that makes you think I have faith?
All right. All right. Well, we'll move on then. I believe Ubisoft has had enough time to prepare thy anus.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go last on this. I'd really like to go last. So.
I'll go first. I have not played it, but I can say that I feel lied to. It looks very pretty at E3. It does not look that pretty right now. I was promised a supermodel. I got her ugly stepsister.
That is basically what happened. I will say that Watchdogs does look pretty good, except for those stupid reflections. That's just one texture that they put in all the windows. That is really dumb. But it does look pretty good when you just as a whole, but it's nowhere near what it was at E3. I do like some of the little animation touches they've put in. Like when it's raining, Aiden will wipe off his phone and brush the water off it, because apparently it's waterproof.
Well, that's not that unnormal. Actually, we have waterproof phones now.
Yeah, I just some of the little animation touches are nice. They're not next gen by any stretch of the imagination. Who's doing that?
I'm sorry. That's me. If I didn't mute Firefox. And people keep messaging me. And Carolyn told me I'm not allowed to move to Texas. So.
Why not?
Why would you want to go to Texas?
I want to go to Texas because they have Google Fiber. Literally the only reason. There is no other reason than that.
See, Texas is too hot. I'd go to what is the first place they installed Google Fiber?
Kansas City.
I'd maybe move there.
Yeah, Kansas City's not bad, but Austin has a lot of tech and a lot of really good tech jobs. So that's why I like Austin. A lot of gaming. There's a lot of gaming, a lot of tech, a lot of music there too. A lot of great stuff in Austin.
I don't know. After living in Minnesota, I don't think I could move to Texas.
Yeah, that's the thing. Austin is not like the Texas you think of. Austin is more like Seattle and San Francisco than it is Texas. All right. Anyway, moving ahead. So, Calvin, were you done with your thoughts? Because I know you haven't actually played the game. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can really say without being an asshole.
Before we all go nuts on that, we do have a question presented to us, which we'll wait until about either midway or the end to answer this. But I'm going to drop it in the Google chat.
Was that Luke's question? Because he sent it to me.
Oh, he said that to you too? Okay.
Just in case. Yeah, Luke, we will get to your question.
Do I have an answer for that?
The question is, if you could add just one feature to Watchdogs, what would it be and why? So we'll give everybody some time to think about that. I think I already know what mine is.
A good story. Good story and decent character.
Right. So Josh, do you have anything else to say here?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not finished the story. It is interesting to keep me playing the game, but it is terrible. Aiden is a jerk. The first thing he does when he meets... What really pissed me off the first time is when you're talking with Bad Boy 17, which is that DedSec hacker. that he's getting all this information from. And the DedSec hacker says, they have to meet, blah, blah, blah. So you go to meet, and he's, looking for Bad Boy, and this girl shows up, whose name is Claire, and she's Russian. She has tattoos all over the place.
Actually, I think she's French.
Is she French?
Yeah, she's French.
I don't know.
In the subtitles, it said it said speaking in French.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you meet her, and he's like, "What? You're not a girl. You don't look 17." Grabs her by the throat and is like, "You're a lie." And it's like, she's a hacker. Really thought Bad Boy 17 was her name? How? That was really stupid.
That was pretty awkward. I will say that.
It gets a lot worse than that.
Well, and this is so far the next bit that's actually more of an example of the obscene amount of, what do they call it, ludonarrative dissonance in the game. There's a mission where you infiltrate a prison as a inmate in order to take out this guy, this gangbanger that saw you in one of your jobs and can identify you. But Aiden is all like, "Oh, he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't want to kill him. I'm just gonna scare him," basically. So he goes into the prison. You are then forced to brutally murder a room full of prison guards just to get to this one thug to say, "You better not tell anyone who I am, or I'm going to make you stay in prison forever." After, well,
I mean,
why?
they were crooked, but still.
He's like, "Oh, I don't want to kill this gangbanger because he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Excuse me while I murder half a dozen cops." That's. And that wasn't even just, the open worldness of the game. That was actually a mission requirement. Kill all of the prison guards.
Yeah, an interesting thing about that, there are so many missions where you could go through the entire mission by doing nothing but hacking and not killing anyone, but it is actually easier to just go and kill every single person with a silenced weapon than it is to do the hacking. And it's actually more fun just to go kill them all and just be really stealthy.
Oh yeah, the stealth part of it is amazing, and I really love the hacking stuff, but most of it actually requires that you kill everyone.
You could basically go through this entire game and only hack when the game requires it. Even though that is the entire point of the game, like that is basically the main point of it, you could go through the entire game and only do it when the mission absolutely requires it. Because every other mission can be completed without it. There's one mission really, really late in the game where you have to rescue someone, and the game tells you, "Oh, use the cameras and distract the guards and guide the person out." Well, you can just press B and just go kill them all, and then the mission ends, and oh, congratulations, you rescued the person.
Yeah.
Like, if you really wanted me to hack, you would have said, "Oh, you can't do that. You have to do it this way because it's too dangerous." But no, you're just gonna let me leave, kill every single person in the room. And here's the other thing: even if you don't do it silenced, if you use a loud weapon, which I did on one of them, and they all found me, it still doesn't matter. They all just come after you. They don't even look for the other person.
Yeah, there's only a couple missions that I found so far that if you get detected, it resets the mission, which is really annoying. Because
There's
the missions where you have to tail someone, because the game requires you to be like 3 feet away from them. Otherwise it says, "You're losing the tail," and it starts the countdown timer.
Oh yeah, it's like, every game where you have to tail someone, you always have to stay really far away. This game, unless you are literally right behind them, you fail the mission.
Or if you don't have line of sight.
Yeah.
You don't have a perfect line of sight. You could be really close to them, but, "Oh, you're losing the tail." Like, no, they're right there.
Literally, if they're just on the other side of the wall, which I found out in multiplayer, they're just on the other side of a wall. Oh nope, you don't have line of sight. You lost them. They're right there.
Like, no, I tagged them with my camera. I know they're right there.
But like the mission that you're talking about, there is one mission that if you're spotted later on in the game, you might have even gotten that because actually I think it's about halfway through the game.
I'm pretty close to halfway
You
through.
you have to infiltrate the CTOS building, and yeah, you can't be seen. If you're seen, you fail the mission. And it's another mission where I failed a couple times trying to be stealthy, so I just killed everyone. I just killed every single one there with my silence vector, and just did it because now everybody was dead and I didn't have to worry about anything.
Well, that's the other funny thing is when you start killing people, there's a couple guys that will try to call reinforcements, but most of the time, if you just kill everyone real quick, the area you're in, that's a restricted area. If you kill everyone, it's no longer a restricted area. You can just run around all you want.
Well, another thing, if you kill them with a silenced weapon, they will never call for reinforcements.
Yeah, that's.
I actually tested this. There was a room with 15 people in it. I saw one guy who could call for reinforcements. I killed every other person there, including 3 people who were standing right next to him. And he never called for reinforcements.
No, they only react in combat mode if they actually see you.
The AI for this game is the absolute worst AI I think I've ever seen in my life. And obviously, I'm not comparing it to 20-year-old games, but for any modern game, I'm talking about PS2 and onward. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And at one point, just for fun, I decided to just go kill a whole bunch of cops because I wanted to see what would happen if I got to 5 stars, or the equivalent to a 5-star wanted level. Nothing changes. I killed like 50 cops, blew up a dozen cars and like 4 helicopters, and even at the maximum level, the only thing that changed was I had a couple SWAT cars coming after me with some of the really armored guys. But that's it. And once I got in a car and drove away, it was just as easy to get away from them as it was at 1 star.
You know what the problem is? We went back in time. We went back to 2007 with the first Assassin's Creed.
Actually, this game goes back even farther because GTA San Andreas for the PS2 was more impressive than this game in a lot of ways.
I say this because of the whole, repetitiveness of the game thus far.
Yeah, that's another thing, and I was waiting for one of you guys to bring it up, and now I've beaten the entire game, and literally every single mission is basically the exact same thing. Go here, do this, do stealth or hack or kill everybody, and you're done. There's no variety in any of the missions at all.
Hey, look, here's a car chase. Do that. Okay. Fine, I'll do another car chase.
And even car chases, you can't shoot out of the car.
No, and that is really, really dumb.
I mean, what the hell? You could do that in freaking GTA 3 15 years ago.
That is really annoying, I will say that.
Because
like, what's the point? What's the point of being able to slow down time? I understand it's to use, be able to hack easier or whatever, but what's the point in that if you can't shoot out of your damn car?
But here's the dumbest thing. There's an entire set of side missions where you have to take out an enemy convoy. This convoy is in vehicles. How do you take out the vehicles? You have literally only 3 options. You can wait for them to pass a traffic light or a steam pipe and blow that up, but a lot of times they're on the highway, which means there is no traffic or steam pipe for you to get them. So your only option is to just drive in front of them, get out of the car, and shoot it. Instead of, and I love how he keeps saying, shoot out the tires of vehicles that are fleeing. How exactly would you like me to do that? They already drove away. I got to go get in a car to go find them, and I can't shoot out the car.
Here's what you got to do. You got to drive like 20 feet in front of them, right? Like plan the route, and just jump out of your fucking car and try to shoot out the tires that way.
And not to mention, the driving physics in this game are... I honestly cannot think of a single other game that is this bad.
They are really bad. The motorcycle is the only thing that you have any...
I was saying earlier that, honestly, Watchdogs is basically the true crime of the new generation. It really is. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to disappear like True Crime because it actually made money unlike True Crime.
Well, True Crime did get a sequel or 2.
Not sure why. But it's like, you know, everything about this seems to me like you had. Honestly, I think that Watch Dogs did not start out as an open world game. I think originally it was going to be, you know, a linear game, and
Well,
then
actually, according to the developers,
decided to make it open world, and it's evident in how just crappy the open world is.
no, what's interesting is according to the developers, Watch Dogs actually started out as a open world driving game.
And if
And
that's the case, why is the driving the absolute worst part of the entire game?
I have no idea. It was originally going to be in the Driver series,
Dear
but
God.
they split the teams up or something and made the new Driver and kept working on Watch Dogs and turned it into Watch Dogs rather than Driver. But yeah, it was originally going to be an open world game that was only driving.
The driving is terrible. The shooting mechanics are terrible. The amount of glitches and bugs in the game is downright disgusting. I was trying to drive over a hill in my car and I ran into a wall, just an invisible wall. And even that, there's invisible walls. Like there's a great video. There's a great video that I posted in VGHC. The character's trying to walk between a street post and like a little bus stop. There's like 5-6 feet in between them, and there's an invisible wall there. Why?
I was once tailing a criminal suspect, and he walked down an alley and proceeded to get stuck walking in front of a bunch of trash cans.
So many people get stuck. There's sometimes there'll be criminals that you'll have to take down. You can get in a car and basically just park in front of them, and they'll just keep running into your car, never doing anything. You
I'll
know,
tell you what.
a person can walk into a fence and the entire fence collapses.
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you what one of my bigger problems is the cover system.
the cover system is very, very sticky.
It's shit. You sit there and you try to go from cover to cover. It's not as smooth as, say, like Gears of War. And then trying to, God forbid, you want to go out of cover and try to sprint out of cover. You can't do it. It doesn't let you.
It just puts you into another piece of cover.
And it's retarded because sometimes I want to do that. I don't want to necessarily go to the next piece of cover. I want to sit here and make a mad dash to the other side of the screen, but I can't do it.
Yeah, and of course, if you're in a restricted area, guess what? You can't sprint at all. You can just run slightly fast.
Yeah.
And that brings up another point. If you're in cover, you'd think you'd be able to fire out from behind cover. No, because there is no hip fire in the game at all.
That's something else that bothered the shit out of me.
No, because
there is no hip fire.
Because what they did, which really threw me off at first, is the sprint button is the same as your fire button, which is different than the aim button, which is different from the holster equip weapon button. And the sprint/fire button is also the same as the acceleration button on a car. This is why you can't fire from a car, because it is literally impossible with the control scheme they designed.
And, oh yeah, another thing about the control scheme, you click in on the left stick to reload.
That was
That's minor, but yeah.
Who the hell thought that was a good idea? The one cheat that I used in the game was no reload because I couldn't remember to frickin' do that. I kept pressing B because B is how you frickin' reload. In every game! Okay, maybe X, but regardless, it's a frickin' button, not a click in. Oh my god. And the driving physics, I mean, I could make a 10-hour-long video just showcasing how bad the cars are in this game. I was in a supercar going max speed, ran right into the back of a semi-truck that was crossing the road. I T-boned him. Semi-truck goes over like 50 feet and explodes. My car, no damage at all.
yeah, the car
Just a couple scratches. Just scratches.
the cars can go for an insanely long time, despite the fact that they have no hood, no doors, smoke's pouring out of every inch of the car, and you can still drive them no problem.
is that the motorcycles, you can hit just about anything in a motorcycle and you're not flown off. Until you go max speed, you're basically never thrown off of the motorcycle.
And even when you ram into something, get thrown off the motorcycle 100 feet, roll in front of a car, and while several other cars have already crashed into your motorcycle, you can go back, pick it up, get back on.
Oh, but that's not all. Sometimes if you dive off of a vehicle and your character hits another car, you turn into the Hulk and that car goes flying away.
I have not seen that.
There's another great glitch where if you walk in front of a train, sometimes the trains will just stop instantly. They won't slow down. They'll just go from full speed to a complete stop. There's evidently one part in the game where there's a bridge that's actually the railroad tracks, and it will raise up into the trains and then go back down. If you knock over a fire hydrant, the water goes right through the car. And it also sounds like really badly distorted. Like it doesn't sound like water. It sounds more like acid boiling or something. Let's see. Oh yeah, if you knock over a lamppost or like a traffic light, instead of the whole thing breaking, it falls over and breaks into 10 perfectly symmetrical pieces. Evidently everything in the city of Chicago has been made to perfectly break the second you touch it.
It's CTOS. There's also, when you're driving a car or a motorcycle on pedestrian sidewalks or areas, it's a 50-50 chance whether the pedestrians will dive out of your way or directly in front of you.
Yeah, and a lot of times they do dive. I mean, my reputation got so badly ruined from pedestrians just diving into me, and it's like, how dumb can you possibly be?
So sometimes I'm not even like going top speed. I'm just going a nice cruise through this area, and there's people all around the side of me like, oh no, dive in front of me. I'm like, no, you are fine.
The one positive thing I can say about the game is that, and really, there really is not much positive I can say about it. I mean, all right, I'm gonna save the one positive thing to the end. I'm gonna go down the road of the shitty things. So going back to the cars, the actual car models themselves, they use the same crappy reflection as the windows, and it barely shows up. This coming, off of, and here's the thing, a lot of people think we're probably just hating to be hating, but here's the thing: Ubisoft deserves this hate because they have spent every second of advertising this game saying this is the next-gen experience. No. They have said that over and over again. They haven't just said this is a new game. They said this is the definitive next-gen game. This is what you've been waiting for.
No.
Then if this is what we've been waiting for, why is GTA 5 on last gen more impressive? Because it is. Just on the vehicle aspect alone, the cars in Watchdog are incredibly low poly. They look like crap. The textures are garbage. I mean, there were cars in GTA San Andreas that looked better than this.
Now coming from someone that has a hard time in a lot of these games, like it's why I prefer something like Assassin's Creed or Infamous. I don't want to sit here and drive from location to location. A lot of these games make you do that. I drove in GTA 5 surprisingly well. Someone that sucks at driving, and that was made very clear in the stream that I did for Watchdogs.
You were so bad at driving in that game.
But I tried at GTA 5 through Nathan. Drove around in that. That felt good. This, not so much.
Yeah, the driving physics are disgusting. They're basically not there. There were GBA games with better driving than this.
And I'm
gonna go all the way and say that Mario Kart, the original Mario Kart, had better driving than Watch Dogs.
Well, Mario Kart is better driving than a lot of things, but that's just me.
But the original.
The motorcycles are the only vehicle.
Games have better driving than Watch Dogs. Cruisin' USA has better driving than Watch Dogs. And the cars look better too.
Oh man.
I'm absolutely serious. The cars look so terrible. The detail is almost non-existent on so many of them. There's one scene towards the end of the game where you actually get a really big close-up of the interior of the back seat of one of the cars. Now, granted, Rockstar doesn't do that good of a job in their games either, but the interior of the back seat was just one solid texture with just little lines in it to show where it went in. There were no headrests, there were nothing. At least Rockstar at least makes it a little 3D and adds the headrests. I mean, Jesus. And I mean, there's basically no reflection on that. In GTA 5, a last-generation game, you could paint your car completely chrome, and it reflected 100% of the environment no matter where you were. Did it look that good? No, but it did. Come to think of it, I don't think it reflected your character or any other car, but it did reflect the environment. So there's at least that. And the chrome paint's for douchebags anyway, so nobody should use it.
You're actually a vampire in GTA 5, little known fact.
But, you know, in GTA 5, every vehicle, if you had, you know, unless you had matte paint on, you had a reflection. And basically in Watchdogs, every single car has matte paint on because there's not a single reflection on any car in the game.
No, because there's only one reflection texture.
And even in GTA 5, if you had a matte car, now cars with matte paint jobs, when they get wet, they actually get shiny and they will actually reflect. So in GTA 5, if you have a car with a matte paint job, when it's raining, it gets wet. You know, and like Watchdogs looks so good in the rain, your character actually gets wet and all that, and it was very impressive. You know, like Josh said, he actually wipes out the phone. But there's nothing that really changes the vehicles in the rain. They actually drive the same in the rain than they do normally. Whereas in GTA, the entire physics of the game change when it's in the rain because guess what? It's raining. If you go 100 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to make a 90-degree turn. In GTA 5, when it was raining, or if you jumped into a pool or were in the ocean, when you went onto a dry area, the water actually dripped off of you and made the ground wet. Does it do that in Watch Dogs? No.
The swimming in Watch Dogs actually looks really weird.
Yeah. In GTA 5, if you hit a pedestrian, there was blood on your car. There was damage on your car. Watch Dogs, run a pedestrian 100 miles an hour, pedestrian just basically disappears. No damage to your car at all, and no blood, no nothing. Nothing to even show that you did that. In Watch Dogs, there's a couple times where if you hit a curb, your car will just stop. Just come to a complete and utter stop. In GTA, if you hit a curb, you might go flying, but your car's not going to stop. Unless you're driving the Turismo, which is about 1 centimeter off the ground, and yeah, that thing might actually stop. I love that car, but if you drive that car at anything less than about 50 or 60 miles an hour and you hit a curb, just crash and instant flip over. But that's what happens when your car is lower than the curb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so many graphical bugs. There's so many just disgusting things. The game, I mean, there were PS2 games that were more detailed than this. And one thing it kept reminding me of was Saints Row 3 and 4. And Saints Row 3 and 4, which, you know, they basically, you know, they went their own way they went really nuts in that, but essentially it was, you know, a GTA clone at the original core. And, you know, the driving wasn't great in Saints Row, but it was doable. The cars didn't look great, but they were okay. You know, everything about Saints Row was just okay, and you put enough okay things and it looked good. But the pedestrians were great in that game. If you hit a pedestrian, it hurts your car. You know, and this Saints Row was a low-budget game for last gen, and it looks more detailed and better than Watch Dogs. I mean, for Ubisoft to say that this is the definitive next gen, then as far as I'm concerned, let's just end this generation now and skip on to the next, because if this is the best we're going to get, this generation sucks ass.
The PC optimization of this is also pretty terrible, as are most Ubisoft games.
And see, everybody, everything I bitched about didn't even touch the PC version yet. Everything we said, we haven't even touched the PC version.
I find it absolutely hilarious that I can play Watchdogs on my computer, which just eclipses the minimum specs, but particularly the CPU, I can play it on either 720p or 900p with either medium, low, or high settings, and I can't quite tell the difference in performance.
For the most part, I was getting about 60 frames, dropped down to 30 at some points. But for the most part, I was getting 60. I was playing it at 1080 with the settings on textures on high and most of the settings on medium. It looked good. It didn't look great, but I watched a lot of video of the ultra quality, and even the ultra quality didn't look that much better than what I was seeing.
No, I was a little disappointed in the ultra quality. It definitely didn't look that much better.
And I downloaded a lot of video from YouTube because I wanted to make sure, it was no buffering issue, so I downloaded it. A lot of 1080p videos of Ultra and testing it out, and, there were a few things I noticed. There was more grass. There was slightly more details in the rain, but for the most part, it was pretty similar to what I got.
Yeah, and most of the time I got major frame rate drops was when I was driving.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and do Luke's question. So Luke asked, if there's one feature you could add to Watch Dogs, what would it be and why?
I would have to go with story and characters because the story and characters are utter crap except for Jordy.
Victor?
Well, the story's just kind of like cliche. I mean, the biggest thing with
the story is incredibly cliche. All the characters are incredibly cliched.
the biggest thing for me is there's got to be a more interesting main character. I'm not attached in any way, shape, or form to Aiden.
I'm not even sure if Aiden has a personality, and if he does, I don't know what personality that is.
Since you guys are done in the story, I have beat the game. I have completed the story. There are a couple moments where it does get good. There are some very cool moments. For the most part, it's absolute shit. It is on par with a B 1980s action movie that no one would give a shit about 2 weeks after release.
And the dialogue, especially.
I mean, the dialogue is terrible. All of the characters are terrible. There's one scene that you're supposed to get very emotional about, but the writing and the dialogue and the acting is so bad that it's just hard to really feel anything. That and just the characters that it's happening between are just so off that it's just...
There was one scene...
I'm trying not to spoil anything, but there are a couple points towards the end of the game that Aiden should feel very emotional about, and so should you, but there's nothing there.
Aiden also sounds like Hacker Batman.
It's like, let's just move on to the next mission and go. And the ending of the game it makes the Mass Effect 3 ending look like a goddamn masterpiece. The ending of this game is so bad. And first of all, the ending of my game, it froze in the middle of the credits, so I couldn't even see the entire ending. Thanks, Ubisoft. And
So
actually, you want to know how I fixed that? I had to copy all the game files from a torrent over to the install directory of my game to get the game to load. Through Uplay.
Which we do not support here.
Or you don't play, excuse me.
Yes, you don't play.
I bought a game, and then I couldn't play it. But if I copied all the files from a torrent over to the game that I bought and downloaded, then it worked. So then I went from you don't play to you actually play.
You kind of play. You hack.
Oh my god, the story. You guys, I know you guys are not that far, but oh my god, it just gets worse.
I think I'm about halfway through, and I just want to see where it goes because right now it's...
I mean, Act 1 and 2 are kind of forgivable because it's like, okay, you're showing us the world and introducing us to the game. But Acts 3 and 4, some of the missions are fun, but the story is so bad. And there's one point where you meet this other hacker who is supposedly this like really, really great hacker. And, he does something bad, but it's like, in my mind, we should convince this guy to help us because we're the good guys. No, let's not do that. Let's just, do what we do in every mission, kill everybody. I mean, the game, it kind of feels like, you remember the Pinkly in the Brain, that we'll do the same thing we do every night? Basically, that's what this game is. We'll do the same thing we do every mission, kill everybody and start the next one. That's essentially all this game is. Kill everybody and move on to the next mission. The entire storyline is nothing but that.
Wow. Aiden's an anti-hero, and blah.
And so are the three characters in GTA 5, all of which are more likable and more believable than anyone in this game.
The only character I remotely like
Trevor is more believable than any character in this game.
I gotta say, I definitely saw this game's limitations, but holy crap, you guys.
Dude, to be fair, I still am having fun. I'm still having fun with the game. I love the hacking environment manipulation stuff. It feels sort of like a cross between GTA and the thief type Assassin's Creed thing, even though the parkour is pathetic. Not even parkour.
Parkour?
Which you have to hold 2 buttons to do, because that makes sense.
You hold the run button and you hold the B button, and Aiden can jump over fences.
That doesn't count.
Right, so, Victor, what was the one feature that you'd add in? Josh said better story, so...
Oh, well, like I said, I would say a better main character. A reason to care more about the main character. He just seems kind of dull. Maybe that changes, but for right now...
No, it gets worse.
And that's
Victor's like, I don't even want to finish this game anymore.
With what you guys say, there almost seems like there's no reason to. But I mean, like Josh was saying, it's a perfect segue into some of the better things. I do like the fact that you can hack shit with your phone. Sitting there, if I can randomly trigger somebody else's phone or somebody else's grenade and blow them up, that's awesome. I like that you can do that.
Yeah.
We basically have a game that's like, what's that old, really crappy surveillance game? Night Trap?
Yes, Night Trap.
We have something like that where we can actually, watch people do things and see different views because you can swap from camera to camera, and it's essentially how you both travel through the places you get to, and also you can mess with people that way.
Watchdogs is Night Trap.
But better. You can actually do stuff, and it's actually more interesting than Night Trap. And you can actually set traps. Like you do the traps.
Calvin, I know you haven't played it yet, but is there anything you'd like to see added that you know of?
Dogs.
That is something someone pointed out on Twitter. There is not a single dog in this entire game.
GTA 5 has more dogs than Watchdogs automatically win. The one thing I would actually like to add, which is a two-part. For one, the shooting mechanics in the game are pretty terrible. There's one thing I noticed very early on when not really early on, but in Act 3, I finally unlocked a silenced assault rifle. So all the guns in the game are on this system of stars. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. 1's the worst, 5's the best. So I have a 5-star pistol, silenced pistol, and I have a 4-star silenced assault rifle. Now, pistols have in real life very limited range. It's pistol. Assault rifles have longer range. With the assault rifle, trying to shoot someone that was about a good maybe 200 feet away, guaranteed miss. With the pistol, 100% accuracy, bullet goes exactly where you fired it, no matter the distance. I took out a sniper like 600 feet away from me, up 4 levels with a pistol. There's a 1911 silenced pistol, like 600 feet away from me. I go and try and get the other sniper with the assault rifle, misses him by 15 feet. Like, the bullet, instead of going straight, went like on a 45-degree angle. And something hit my mind? This reminds me of Fallout 3. This reminds me of Fallout 3 before the auto-aim mod came out, when your aiming was decided on your shooting skill. So if you had a low shooting skill, you could be a foot away from someone and fire a gun, and that bullet would randomly go straight up in the air.
That's actually
Because he knows it's true.
that's like it's also like they took that from Morrowind. In Morrowind, when you first spec your character at the very beginning, if you don't put any point into any like combat or sword fighting skills, you can have a giant broadsword be standing in front of an enemy and be swinging that thing. You will never hit them.
My sword is going right through the enemy, but it's not hitting. Yay!
Because you have to have like at least, I forget what it was, like 20 or 30 points, and there was like a certain point where if your sword or combat skill is below that, you would never hit anything.
Well, Fallout 3 wasn't that bad, but Fallout 3 used a combination of the luck and the shooting skill, and I think strength, to decide where your bullets went. And unfortunately, it just made it so that you could literally be at point-blank range, point a pistol right at the back of someone's head, and the bullet would just go literally straight up in the air. Because it's the only way you wouldn't hit them. I mean, it would go through it, but, you know, it's a... And it's like, when I did that, you know, I go and get this assault rifle. But because it's not 5 stars, the bullets go everywhere. So, and that's part of the reason why I eventually wanted to get the Silenced Vector, because that was a 5-star, it's a 5-star SMG that you could get silenced. But, oh my god. But that is the one thing that I would do, the one thing that I would add, I would get rid of, I would just make the weapons realistic. Don't give them star systems. It's like they put the freaking they put the AK-47 above an M416. Are you kidding me? The AK-47, one of the most inaccurate, you know, assault rifles of all time, you put it above one of the most amazing guns that the United States has ever come up with. And even then, like, if you use those lower level guns, you can't hit anything. Bullets just randomly go everywhere. Any gun that does not have 5 stars in the game is useless. Except here's the thing: you can't get rid of any of the guns. So at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, at the end of the game, my assault rifle and SMG section had like 12 guns in it. There were only 2 that I used, but it had 12 guns in it. And of course, one of them was in the middle, and the other one was all the way at the end. So okay, let me just go over. There's the gun. Good thing I'm in focus, so no one's killing me.
They should make the guns more realistic, just like Call of Duty does.
I'm not even asking for super realism, but the way the system of the guns was just incredibly stupid. And the one feature I'd really like to have would be customization. You know, it's like there's a bunch of guns that you can get silenced versions for. But why is the silenced version a completely separate gun? Just let me go buy a silencer for it.
Wait, hold on. That's a separate gun entirely and not an attachment?
Yes. You have the
That
Vector,
is
and you have the
fucking
Spec
retarded.
Ops Vector. You have the Goblin, and you have the Spec Ops Goblin. You have the 1911, and then you have the Spec Ops 1911. They are all separate guns. It is not an attachment you buy. It is a completely separate gun, so you have both.
That's fucking retarded.
And like but it makes it even worse because the only guns that you should basically use at all in the game are the 5-star ones, because all the ones that aren't 5 stars basically suck, and they're useless at anything other than close range. So, but then you're still stuck with all those crappy guns at the end. Like once I got the silenced Vector once I got that was basically the only gun I used for the rest of the game. I switched to the full auto shotgun a couple times, and I switched to the machine gun that you get at the end of a mission about halfway through the game. But that was it. Those are the only guns I used, but yet I'm still stuck with all these other guns.
So you guys might be asking yourselves, why play this game?
I cannot give you a good reason. I mean,
Still fun.
And the thing is,
put it this way, I still did. I'll admit, I had a lot of fun playing it. And before it was released, when I had my rented copy, you know, it made me go spend the money to buy it. But then the honeymoon ended, and I realized just how shitty the game really was. Honestly, I would not advise anyone to spend more than maybe $30 on this game because it's really not worth much more than that.
It's kind of funny that you say that because that's exactly what I spent on the game. $30.
I spent 52.5, but that's all I'll be spending on it. I sure as hell won't be buying the season pass because I just find the game an epic disappointment. I honestly also believe that I cannot trust Ubisoft ever again, and I've lost all faith that I had in the Division. Though hopefully, because it's from another developer, it won't be as shitty.
And I will say the only reason I even dropped the $30 to begin with was just so I could be able to actually say something about the game, because it's probably still in queue at this point through GameFly.
Oh,
Otherwise, I wouldn't have spent anything. The plan was to originally rent the game because, I mean, the thing is, anybody, I guess maybe I'm not going to give it as much shit because I kind of already got myself out of the game before I even got it. The more and more that came out with Watchdogs, it was just like, this isn't going to be anything close to what they're putting it out to be. It's just not. It's impossible.
That I sort of removed myself from a lot of the hype. It was like I was really hyped about it when they first announced it, but then it just, the longer it took, the less we heard about it or different stuff. Like, okay, yeah, this might be sort of a fun game, but whatever.
The one thing that I really want to know, what shape was this game in back in November?
They said it wasn't fun. That's
and
all.
It's still, I'll give it. It's at least fun. That's about the one thing it has going for it. But I gotta imagine, they said, "Oh, we're gonna delay it to polish it."
What I read from the developers is that they were making it. It was about ready to go gold. They were about ready to ship it out, and then one day they just looked at it and said, "This is not a fun game. This is really boring."
So Luke had another question. He said, "Do you think that Watch Dogs will make a story expansion like GTA 4?"
It'll be in the season pass. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
the season pass includes missions playing as T-Bone,
Which is a new character.
Evidently, it's only $20. I thought it was 30. So.
Yeah, it's 20.
T-Bone is he's a character in the game that you meet, but you'll actually get to play as him. And then we don't know whether that story is before or during or after the game, but it's a new campaign. And then there's 3 additional single-player missions.
Which those are the ones that are in the deluxe version.
Oh, so we already have those then.
Well, it's 3 of the one. There is one mission that's exclusive to the deluxe version. The other 3
so
are.
basically, all there is the story. There is a new campaign where you play as the new character, and then a bunch of content that you may or may not already have, and then a new game mode called Conspiracy.
Yeah, where it's like some alternate reality where you're fighting cyborgs or something.
Wait, you're getting a season pass for content that already exists elsewhere?
Evidently, because the 3 missions it says right there are the exact missions that came in the Digital Deluxe.
Well, that's one rip-off of a season pass if I ever seen one.
It says the season pass includes. I think I noticed that when I looked up it on Wikipedia. I'm gonna go look this up again, because I remember looking at that and I was thinking, damn, I could have just bought the season pass and getting all the content that I spent extra money for.
There is one what they call 60-minute long.
Oh, somebody edited that out. That list of all of the different versions that was on Wikipedia, somebody edited it out. Ubisoft, you sneaky little bastards. Oh, man. I'm trying to see if there's like a version. Trying to look at the Google cache and see if there's an old version. But,
yeah.
And of course, before all of this, you gotta keep in mind the additional content for the PS3/PS4, whatever that happens to be.
So
Yeah, that's right.
the season pass includes. I'm trying to find the actual list here. Okay, here we go. I found it on the wiki. The Watchdogs wiki. So it includes the Breakthrough Pack, Signature Shot Pack, and Palace Pack.
Those are all pre-order missions.
Digital Deluxe or pre-order bonuses. So that's not any new content.
No, those are all digital deluxe or pre-order stuff.
it gives you 5 outfit packs: the Bloom Agent, DedSec, Chicago South Club, Cyberpunk, and Chicago outfit. All of which were pre-order bonuses at one place or another, so that's nothing new either.
So those are also included in the digital deluxe.
Not all of them, but some of them. The Cyberpunk isn't. Then you get the T-Bone campaign and bonus missions to play as Aiden, which aren't in the 3 mission packs, and you get a new digital trip to take out cyborgs. But basically, at least half of the season pass is pre-existing content.
Yeah, the white hat pack. The white hat pack is the only bonus that's exclusive to the digital deluxe. That has the 60 minutes of additional gameplay and the white hat hacker outfit and the extra battery slot.
And I couldn't even find those missions, but I guess I had to go do something. I don't know.
No, they're on the map. They're called exclusive mission. It's like a little blue octagon with little spider webs coming out of it, or little tendrils coming out. If you hover over it, it says exclusive mission, and then gives you the name.
So, yeah. So basically, like, if you bought the digital deluxe edition, I guess you got, and the season pass, you paid full price for both. You paid. Well, the digital deluxe was what, 70 or 80?
70.
So you paid $90 and got half the content twice?
Yeah, basically.
That is... oh my god.
At least
like I said, honestly, right now, I have lost... I mean, I did not have a lot of respect for Ubisoft before this, but now it's gone.
Now, I think a lot of this is mostly because they fucked your PC versions to high hell, but I mean, this is just absurd.
Oh yeah, they're notorious. Ubisoft is notorious for bad PC ports. They're also notorious for having their games pirated en masse.
Which is really what makes me wonder why there is even any sort of debate. Like, oh, I'm still going to get it on PC. Okay.
Yeah, well...
Suit yourself.
I mean, you know, this... I should have known better, but of course the rented copy worked perfectly fine, so I assumed the Uplay one would. And it did, once I copied the rented copy into the bought copy.
Yeah.
But,
funny enough... You know where Uplay didn't fuck you? On the console.
Actually, that's not completely true. I have seen some reports of PS4 people having trouble.
Yes, the PS4, I don't know if it was a PSN issue or what, but I know there was a lot of PS4 people that couldn't play the game.
Really?
All the issues seem to be on the PS4 and the PC. So those are most likely the most sold platforms as well. The PS4 had the exclusive content over the 360, and not the 360, but the Xbox One. And, you know, the PC, just because, you know, the game was supposed to be so much better on the PC, which it's really kind of not, but whatever.
No, it's not.
PC Master Race.
You know, my one hope is that the Division might still be good, but I gotta say, after this, Ubisoft is never going to get release date money from me ever again, and maybe not even release week money. And
yeah, I'm renting.
Yeah, like I said, you know, we should have known. You know, when the original Assassin's Creed came out, you had to play it in 16:9. It had no other aspect ratio or resolution support. You know, that was the first stepping stone, and that's part of the reason why, like you said, Victor, their games are always pirated. Their games are always pirated because, you know, a lot of people in the PC feel it's not worth buying them. And it's not worth buying a game that you got to fight with to get it to work when the pirated version works perfectly. And Watchdogs is another perfect example of that. People pirated the game a week ago, and it was working perfectly. Yet you have at least thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people unable to play it who bought it. And I was one of them. And I had to copy files from an illegal download to get my paid-for copy to work. Because according to it, everything was fine. Yeah, it just froze. So Luke asked another question, and his question was, now I gotta go find it.
Is he going to keep us up all night asking
I think
questions?
that was it.
He says, "Do I dare say chances of a sequel?"
Yes.
It'll happen.
I have
There's
no
no
doubt.
reason just because of the sales numbers.
Yeah, just the sales numbers alone.
Ubisoft said explicitly before the game even came out that they were planning this as a yearly franchise.
Yeah,
And that well, maybe not, I don't know if they specified yearly, but they were planning as a franchise.
a franchise.
And they said explicitly that whenever they create a new IP, they always plan it as a franchise.
Yeah, but you know what? They could go yearly. They're basically copying Assassin's Creed. So wait, maybe this means the second one's going to be amazing.
And then everyone after that will be terrible.
Well, we got at least 2 good ones coming. Then there's going to be 2 crappy ones. Then we're going to hit it good again, and then it's going to become an annual franchise.
I just gotta say, my last thought about the game is basically this. A lot of you may remember this ad. They said 2 months are enough to visit Los Santos. Well, we had a lot more months. We had about 7 months. But, 7 months, that was a long time to visit Los Santos, but you know what? 5 days was enough to visit Watchdogs. Because it's time to go home.
They really need to bring either Red Dead Redemption or GTA 5 to PC, because I would really like to play either of those.
Prepare to cry when you see the system requirements.
The biggest favor you can all do for yourselves is basically take yourself away from the hype. I did it. There is fun to be had. Just know that there are most definitely some limitations on the game.
Do not.
The biggest thing to remember is that it is not a next-gen game, no matter what Ubisoft says.
Yes.
If you're putting your game out on last-gen systems as well as next-gen systems, your game is not next-gen. I'm sorry.
That evidently has pretty much been completely and utterly proven now.
Yes.
Because this was, I think, one of the last games that's going to be doing that, where it was developed for both at the same time. So.
And what really strikes me as
Call of Duty isn't coming out for the old ones, I don't think.
Well, what strikes me as really funny is that supposedly this game was actually developed first and mastered on PC.
Yeah, which they swore up and down that they did, yet.
They mastered the game on
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Yeah, they say they mastered it on PC first and then ported it to consoles. You need to do something about your mastering process. Either that or porting it to consoles completely buggered up the PC version.
The worst part is, you guys can do better. Black Flag just came out. I don't know how open world this game is in comparison, but Black Flag has quite a bit to do. It works a shit ton better. And actually has a character you actually care about.
Yeah, actually, Black Flag might have a little bit more to do than Watchdogs. I mean, Watchdogs has all the random crimes and you're hacking everyone, which is kind of fun. And you can play chess and poker and do betting and stuff like that. So I mean, there is a lot of little stuff to do in Watchdogs. I don't know if it's quite as expansive as GTA 5 or even Black Flag.
Don't get me wrong. Nothing's going to kill GTA. This was something that I thought I was looking forward to, the idea of it being something that I can play that's not GTA, that's the same type of game that I can enjoy. As far as I'm concerned, that game is Black Flag. This game, it just doesn't cut it.
Yeah, Victor, you should try. You have GameFly. You should go get GTA 5 at some point and play through it. I wouldn't touch online, but just go through the story.
Yeah, I heard things about that as of lately.
Yeah, don't touch online. Or if you really attempt to, just let me know and I'll go in a tank and I'll cover you.
That's actually
But-
good advice for any game. Don't touch online.
That's one thing we didn't touch. So I'm the only. I think I'm the only one who put any time in Watchdogs multiplayer.
Yes,
Everyone playing Watchdogs multiplayer on the PC, y'all are a bunch of bitches. Quit running away and fight. So the primary mode of Watchdogs multiplayer is I go into your game and try to hack you.
as an NPC.
Yeah. So I have to track you down. I have to profile you. I have to activate the phone and activate the profiler and get a visual on you, and I have to stay within sight of you until I hack all your data. So the goal of this is that I find you, I hack you, I hide, and you try to find me and kill me. I cannot kill you. I mean, I can, but I'll fail the mission, so I'm not going to. So, but here's what happened, and what kept happening. I would go into missions and someone would instantly go in a car and just run away so I could never get them. Or they would go into an area where, or they would go into an area where like there was only one way to get there, only one line of sight, so I would have to die. And it's like, okay, I mean, I get it, I kind of do. Okay, you want to win, but wow, you're a dick. And I'm proud to say that every single time someone did that to me, I gave them a chance. I gave them the chance to get that data. And one time, actually no, 2 times they did, and I just couldn't find them. I'll admit it, I just looked everywhere and just could not freaking find that person. But a lot of the other times that someone tried to do it, I had a lot of fun trying to find them. And one of them, I know I really pissed it off because I killed the person with 98% left. So I almost felt bad about that one, but I mean, it's fun when you actually play it the way it's meant to be played. You let the person find you and you try to find them. It's hide and seek is what it is, and when you let that play out, it's fun.
It's like the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed, where you're basically trying to out NPC each other.
Yeah, I guess that is. I never actually played that, but basically, yeah, that probably is very similar. But I mean, it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun when I was actually playing it legitimately. It just was so difficult to find legitimate players. And when I was looking for help today on fixing my issues with the PC version, I went on the official forums, I went in the PC discussion. Literally, there's like 10 topics on the first page saying, "Everybody online, stop running away, stop quitting, stop glitching." But here is the one great thing about quitting. If they quit, like if you go to hack someone and they quit, you get a win.
That's nice.
So that was very nice. I got 2 of the 5 wins I needed that way. So we're at 2 hours now, so I guess we should probably be...
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that a while ago, but there's so much to go on with Watchdogs. There was a lot to be said.
So our next show is going to be after E3. We decided not to do a show during E3 because it was just going to be too difficult with everyone's schedules.
Plus, with all of the double talk and misinformation and rumor and all the stuff during E3, it would be kind of a mess.
So our next show is going to be on June 15th, probably going to be a very long one. So with that being said, we have our last minute E3 predictions and hopes before we end off here. I'll start off and we'll end it from there. And obviously I'd love to say I'd like to say I see something from Rockstar, but Rockstar's never there, so we won't. I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is stuff that's unannounced. Some new titles, because right now there isn't really that much I'm looking forward to this year. So I'm really hoping to get some unannounced things that they've just been keeping secret that's going to come out this fall. I don't really necessarily care for what, because I don't have any of the consoles anyway. But it'd be nice to have some more reasons to actually buy one. Sunset Overdrive looks cool, but there's so much stuff. And the biggest thing I really, 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 really hope that EA announces some more Star Wars games. Preferably good ones. Jedi Academy sequel, please.
I just want to see Fallout 4.
Won't be there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but Bethesda's pretty much confirmed that.
They always do their own separate shows for that stuff.
You suck, by the way, Bethesda. Just hit me. We might actually see Matt. Probably not, but we might see Mass Effect. Kind of doubt it, but we might. Victor, last minute prediction or hope?
I'm still going to stick with my original answer when this question was kind of already presented in one of our previous episodes. The reason, in fact, for each console, why we should buy them. I feel like we're closer to that, but we need something that just makes everybody not even think about it.
Well, we know Microsoft's reason, Halo 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you need another reason? Microsoft's just going to come out, show Halo 5, and then just walk off the stage and come out. It's like, are you not entertained?
And it's a shame that got announced. It's a shame that kind of got leaked early or whatever, because I mean that'll do it for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, it got leaked in the respect of the box art, but that's it. I mean, they've done a really good job of not telling us anything.
If they show a video, that'd be really nice.
I think it's safe to say we will, and I really hope that Halo HD collection is actually true. Because that would be pretty cool if they did release an HD collection for the Xbox One with all 4 games.
Yeah.
Though I really kind of wish they included ODST and Reach in that too, but I can understand it's the Master Chief collection, so why are we going to put the games without Master Chief?
What about Halo Wars?
Master Chief was not in that game either.
It gives everyone the perfect entry into it while you sit there and wait for Halo 5. So it's the perfect time to do something like that. Like that would be great, actually.
And Halo 5 most likely will not come out this year. So you release the Master Chief Collection this year, and you release Halo 5 next year. Calvin, last minute E3 prediction or hope?
Half-Life 3.
That's it. Flying to Pittsburgh tonight. That's it. You know, Calvin, every time you make a Fallout joke, Elder Scrolls Online sucks more.
That's not possible.
Yes. So he admits that it sucks. Alright, everybody. See you in 2 weeks after E3.
I'm Hackman.
I gotta go to bed so I can go have my phone birthday tomorrow.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.